Welcome to a very special edition of the Stress to Success Shift podcast and Dr. Dan.
The Destination Health Podcast.
We're doing a collaboration because we have a very special guest today that, frankly, we were kind of fighting over. Like, she's a very busy doctor, and we were fighting over who got space in her calendar to interview her. And so, rather than trying to split her apart like Solomon did in the Bible, we just decided to share. And so, we're very thrilled to welcome Dr. Amelia Scot Barrett. She is a Stanford-trained neurologist who shows people how to cut their headaches in half without medication. Modern neuroscience has revealed how the brain heals itself, and Dr. Barrett has translated those advances into actionable changes that we can all make in order to heal our brains and reduce headache pain. She and her team coach people to health through several online courses offered by the Migraine Relief Code. And Dr. Amelia Scot Barrett is also one of the world-class experts that I am supremely honored to be able to collaborate with and to bring you the Brain Reboot mini summit series, soon to be a full summit. And so today we brought Dr. Amelia on because we want to talk about her talk that she is giving on our upcoming Brain Reboot event this coming Saturday, April 23rd at noon Eastern. It goes from noon till 3 Eastern with several world-class experts, all in their own rights and their own niches. And it's all about rebooting the brain and healing yourself. So welcome, Dr. Amelia. And thank you, Dr. Dan.
Well, thank you for having me on. Very excited.
And thank you both for having me here today. It's a pleasure.
I wouldn't have missed it for the world. Now, Dr. Amelia, your topic for the upcoming Brain Reboot series is reboot your brain to reduce the pain. I'm going to say that again. Reboot your brain to reduce the pain. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. And can you just give us a little bit of background why you chose that topic and how it fits in with our mini summit, with your clients, and even what you find people are experiencing right now?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to. So really, this goes back to a moment that I vividly remember. It was about 10 years ago, and I was sitting in my office with one of my favorite patients, amazing woman. She worked, she has 4 kids, and she has horrible migraines. And we had been through probably 20, 25 different medications with her. And she's sitting in my office for number 26. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, this isn't going to work. It isn't going to work. And at the same time, I had been experimenting with managing my own migraines in a lot of different ways. There is some fascinating brain research that has come out over the past 10 years about how the brain heals. And so I remember just thinking, I need to show her that. And you know, what I did that day was I gave her the prescription and moved on. But I just remember thinking, I have to change this. I am not the only neurologist who is having this moment of realizing that conventional neurology is failing people with migraines, especially the people who have really bad migraines, and that we have not wrapped our arms around all the new information that is out there and brought it to our patients. So that was really the moment for me when I thought, I have to fix this problem. I have to teach people that there is more available to them than prescription medications. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with prescription medications. I prescribe them all the time, but for so many people, they don't do the trick. They don't fully take away the migraines. They cause side effects that really interfere with people's ability to live the life they want to live. And there are so many other tools that are available to us now that was the beginning of my journey of bringing all these other tools to people with migraines.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And yes, go ahead, Dr. Dane.
I find it fascinating because on my podcast, I've had so many conventionally trained medical doctors that we all know. And there's always that moment in time where you see a patient or you have your own experiences and you just change a little bit for the betterment of the patient. So I always find that fascinating, because I agree, Dr. Amelia. I mean, there's nothing wrong with medications. I've taken statins and so forth on and off throughout my life because I have a genetic component to a cardiovascular issue. And yet I still look at it from a functional aspect in order to help myself out. And I think that's important to know for all of our listeners. It's okay to take medication. It's also okay to change it up a little bit, maybe a lot of it, depending upon the individual patient, and to make it where you can help out and you can serve at a higher level.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a shift in how modern medicine is practiced, right? Don't you find that? I think that this shift is happening slowly. It's definitely real. It's at the forefront of where medicine is going. And there's a small group of people who are really taking the charge and moving the needle on this project of trying to bring more tools to people. But it is a little bit of a shift in our thinking. And so that's why I consider this to be a process of rebooting the brain. It really is, going a step back and thinking about how does the brain actually heal itself, and what can we do to tap into our brain's innate capacity to heal? How do we bring those healing systems online and augment them and really, have them working in our favor to help us heal from migraines and other brain conditions.
Love it. So Dr. Amelia, for our listeners, could you please back up and explain to them why you're talking about the brain when you talk about pain?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, good point. So pain signals are really processed in the brain, and there are a number of different pathways within the brain that change over time as a direct result of chronic pain. So, and the other issue here that people need to know is if you have more than 10 days of headache a month, that counts as chronic headaches. In the most updated guidelines by the American Headache Society, you qualify as having chronic headaches, even if it's just 10 days a month. A lot of people are out there powering through those 10 headache days a month, taking over the counters or prescription medications. But, really this information applies to so many more people than realize that it does apply to them. So because of tools like functional MRI, we've been able to figure out what's happening in the brain when people are in that chronic pain state. And the super cool, best, most awesome part of it is we've also figured out how to help the brain slowly rewire back to that healthier state with normal pain processing pathways. So it's a really exciting time.
Now, when you take a functional approach to a migraine, how do you do that? What does that look like for you in your office?
Well, I think that the most important thing, which is often overlooked in conventional medicine, is you need to know where the brain is at right now. So in other words, let's just take the example. Let's say you're trying to build a brick wall, right? You need bricks. You need mortar, you need the water, you need the little trowel. Like there are many things you need to do that. And if you expect your brain to build itself up, it needs all those tools in the same way. Well, what are the tools of our brain? Those are nutrients. So this may be your omega-3 levels. I think that's important to check. It may be intracellular magnesium. We need to check that. We need to check vitamin D. We need to check vitamin B12. These are essentially the building blocks that your brain uses to heal. And so we need to know where you're at with that. So I think it's important to check a lot of different nutrients
Mhm.
that affect brain health. So that's really the first step. And functional medicine has done a fantastic job of offering us a much broader array of tests that are important for our health. So, the American Academy of Neurology may recommend essentially no blood work for patients who have migraine, but I disagree with that. I think that we need to know what your starting point is. I don't advocate anybody take handfuls of pills for no particular reason, even if they're just supplements. I think
Mhm.
we need to know that we are fixing a problem that your body has. So that's really the place to start. And I call that the reveal step of
Right.
rebooting the brain. You need to reveal where the brain is at and what it
Right.
actually needs.
I think that's important because all of those building blocks can lead to different types of neurological conditions. And it's important to take a look at vitamin D, the B12, the magnesium, the omega-3 fatty acids, because most of us are eating omega-6 fatty acids in processed foods. And that's going to be a problem with somebody who has a migraine. And somebody like me, I've had migraines on and off. When I was younger, I had them. I've had 7 concussions in my football career. And boy, if I get hit in the head now, and if my son is listening to this, no, you cannot punch dad in the head, because if I do, I get a little silly, and I do get a classical type of a migraine headache. And to have that, to have those supplements, you're deficient in them, and to take them are extremely important.
And I'm going to throw in here, because I hear Dr. Dan say it all the time, and I know, preaching to the choir here, because we all say this: test, don't guess. Right. So it's like, that's one of his mantras. And Dr. Amelia, I know it's yours as well. And I really appreciated how you talked about the pain processing and where basically it happens in the brain. Like, we think that, oh, we got the sore elbow, the pain's there. No, it's actually in your head. Right. So and that's where you have to start. And so I'm really, for one, looking forward to your talk, because I know that you're going to be showing some cutting edge, innovative images and proof of how pain impacts your brain. Hey, that rhymed. and how you can then turn around to heal it. So, and I also especially love that you've used one of my favorite words, shift, multiple times. It's the reason why the podcast, our organization, everything is called the Stress to Success Shift Institute. And it's because of needing to shift. And for me, I'll just throw it in here. The reason why I chose shift is because I'm a word geek, and it also, to me, stands for self-healing innovations, fast-forwarding transformation. So there is that shift and the innovation, right? So, and I love that we are all here. So can you give us a sneak preview? Just like a little teaser, so that people who are listening can go, oh, I want more of that on Saturday.
Sure, absolutely. And I'll be honest, I think what most people are interested in is, what can I do right now?
Yeah.
What can you tell me that is actionable, where if I show up and give you 20 minutes of my time, you are going to tell me something that can make my life better. And there are so many ways we can go with that, but I'll just do a follow-up on the nutrient testing that we were just talking about. So of course you can go to your doctor and ask for all of these labs to be done. But if you want to start something right now, right here, that will make your life better, if you have migraines, I have one top tip for you. And that is to begin taking magnesium. And not just any magnesium, because I always like to tell the story that there are some forms of magnesium that I used back when I was an intern purely as a laxative. So
Yes.
there was a patient in the hospital who was a little backed up from their surgery or their pain medications. Mag citrate was our go-to drug. And so it's very important that you not take that one. We want something that's better absorbed by your body. And there are these new formulations of magnesium that are, at a molecular level, they're combined with amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. So what happens is your body says, aha, that's protein. I know what that is. I'm going to absorb that, through the GI tract. When you take it in and it's going through your body immediately recognizes that amino acid and says, all right, you're on board, you're coming in, bring it into the system, instead of just having it going through your GI tract and causing sometimes problems. So, one of my favorites is magnesium glycinate. And most people need in the range of 400 to 500 milligrams a day. There have been numerous studies of various types of supplements for migraine. And this is the one that is the clear star in the supplement realm. Upwards of 80-90% of people are deficient in magnesium within the brain. When we look at very specialized types of brain imaging that shows, nutrient levels, this is just for research purposes. We can't go out and get those, but we can certainly extrapolate that information and use it to help people. So I would say if you want an actionable hands-on tip right now, it would be make sure you're taking magnesium. It can't hurt you. You can't get too much at these doses. Make sure it's a chelated magnesium, they call it, where it's combined with this amino acid. So that's magnesium glycinate. And then make sure you're up to about 400, 500 milligrams at night. And then just sort of set it and forget it. Take it every night before bed. Give yourself a month or two. Most of us are so enormously magnesium depleted that you're not going to see a benefit next week, but I guarantee you a couple months down the road, you will. So that would be my number one takeaway tip for everybody who's listening.
Awesome. And before Dr. Dan, because I just want to give my own personal experience with this, having broken 10 bones in a car accident and having multiple soft tissue injuries. It's like, there's like headaches, in other words, there's ongoing challenges with scar tissue in that. And so it was a choice for me between taking Percocets or Oxycodone, whatever you want to call it, to eliminate the pain or reduce the pain, or take magnesium. So I take magnesium on a daily basis because it is like nature's muscle relaxant and keeps you, it relaxes the muscles. So it's not just for headaches. And I just wanted to give my own little personal plug in there for it. In fact, here in Croatia, I had trouble finding it for a bit, and I'm just getting back to finding like that good form. So yes.
Really good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better. It's good for more than just headaches.
Yes. Dr. Dan.
I just have like 1,000 questions that can last 10 hours on this. I'm thinking of, cortical processing and thalamic processing, neurotransmitters, the hypothalamus, and all of this type of stuff. But we'll get into that at another time, because we can really go on for days with that one. So what are some of the root causes? You mentioned, omega-3 fatty acids, which we can measure, the omega-6s to the omega-3s in a blood work. We can do a vitamin and mineral panel to see where those vitamin D levels are, where B12 is, where magnesium is. What else do you find clinically in your office as a root cause?
Well, many people who have chronic headaches are living in a chronic fight or flight state. And one of the ways that I know that this is what's happening is I always ask people, are their stress levels high, medium, or low? And they say something along the lines of, it's the same as it's always ever been, because they don't want to say their stress levels are super high. People have this misconception that it's a single bad day that will cause a headache, or a single stressful event that will cause a headache. And while that is true, the big blind spot for people is that they are living in a chronic fight or flight state. And so many people don't realize that. So I think that is a big, big root cause. That is it's tough to help people see that that's part of the problem. And it's also tough to give people a quick fix, because I'm sure Dr. Irene can tell us there isn't really a quick fix to that one. It's a matter of learning new skills, right?
You're preaching it. You got the amen, like the hallelujah chorus going here. I'm like nodding.
Yeah.
And everybody, I mean, we're, you know, in the world today, there's just a lot of stress. And so you can say that there's an uptick in migraines and headaches in general, because there's just so much stress that's going on right now. And there's so many people that need your help when they're listening in. So it's very important for everybody to come in on Saturday. Is this going to be live, or is it live, or is it Memorex? Which one is it?
Both.
It's live.
It's live. What time is it live?
Go ahead, Dr. Amelia.
So it starts at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, and it will be 3 hours. We've got 6 different speakers. So this is jam-packed full of information. If you can't make the live, I would recommend registering anyway, because we've got an encore weekend the following weekend, and the 6 of us have put together over $500 worth of freebies that we're just handing out to anybody who registers. I mean, we are all committed to helping people improve the health of their brains, and we just want to share whatever we can to make that happen, so that the world we live in is full of people with healthier brains, happier brains. Right. People can, you know, function at their best. So that
where can individuals go and sign up? Because I'm signing up, everybody, just to let everybody know I'm going to be there. Can I ask questions too?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can ask
that could be dangerous,
on the live.
Dr. Amelia.
Yeah. So you can, you know, raise your hand and speak with the speaker who's presenting if you have a question, or if you'd rather just ask questions in the chat, you can get a direct response from our speakers that way. So yeah, we have lots of ways to make sure.
I may be in a hockey rink this weekend. I know I'm going to be in a hockey rink. I don't know what times. So you may see me in a hockey rink, you know, coaching or opening up doors and asking questions at the same time. So it's all good. So here it is right here.
Fine.
Dr. Irene has put it in. I'm going to make a copy of this, because we're going to put this right in the show notes, because I think it's important for everybody to show up for this.
So in essence, it's just brainreboot2022.com. brainreboot2022.com. That is how you reach us. It will be in the show notes. It will be in the Facebook posts, Instagram posts, LinkedIn posts, everywhere that we're posting this. Going out by email, you'll have lots of opportunities to register, and don't wait. Register no matter what, because we know you're busy and you're just going to, you know, go, yeah, mañana, and then it's going to be too late. And you are going to miss all of this phenomenal, yummy goodness. And when I say world-class experts, I truly, truly mean, like, Dr. Amelia is one. In fact, Dr. Amelia was the one who spearheaded this whole initiative and brought the rest of us online with her. So it's truly, truly, we have the best of the best. And we are all passionate about helping you reboot your brain so that you can build a better brain for a better life. And let me ask you this one last question, Dr. Amelia. why reboot your brain? Why was that the topic? Because this was your brainchild, pun intended. And can you please explain why you chose that, and why, even if people don't think that they have issues with their brain, they should be there?
Because that's how it feels when you do it. It really feels like turning the computer off and turning it back on, and suddenly it works right.
Mhm.
And, the brain exists, at many different levels. It's not like other organs. It exists at the level of the mind as well as a more physical level. And there are lots of different ways that we can heal. So we have speakers who are covering all those different aspects of how the brain works. And once you start to make a few changes, it is just a night and day difference. You feel like you're living a different life. It's like you got rebooted. It really is. So there are many, many different things that work for different people depending on their own unique situation. But that's why we kind of wanted to bring them all together in one place. So no matter what you need, no matter what it is that's going on with your brain, here's where you find a place to start, and people who you can trust.
You know what? I am motivated now to get
right.
more back into neurology, because talking with the both of you, I'm sitting here and I'm like, wait a second, because this was a wheelhouse of mine. Not so long ago. I live in the metabolic dysregulation at this point, but I think I'm getting back into it because you all have motivated me to get back on. So I don't know. I'm dusting off Kendall and Schwartz, I think, this evening. Okay, Dr. Amelia, I think so. I think I'm going to dust off Patton, and all of those books. I think that's the way it's going to go. So anyway,
I love it.
I think we're going to have
metabolic health is absolutely critical for brain health as well.
Yes, it is.
We're now calling, devising terms like type 3 Alzheimer's,
Correct.
For
Alzheimer's is considered type 3 diabetes right now.
Type 3 diabetes as another type of Alzheimer's, essentially, that causes microvascular ischemic changes and leads to dementia. So metabolic health is actually quite important for the brain.
It's very important. It is extremely important. I think we're going to do a deeper dive with the three of us in the next month. I'm going to have everybody come on to my podcast, or we'll have a mutual podcast again. Doesn't matter. And I'm going to be rocking and rolling with some deeper dive questions after the Brain Reboot 2022. So who are the speakers again?
We, Dr. Irene and I are both speaking. And T. Cadron, who has a PhD in nutrition, will be joining us. Samuel Shea, who is a functional neurologist, will be joining us. Tina Stein, who is a functional psychiatrist, will be joining us. And Elizabeth Yarnell, who is a traditional naturopath, will be joining us as well. So we've kind of got everything covered and every degree imaginable on our panel.
So there's going to be so many legs holding the table up, and it's just going to be, all this great information that's going to be coming out. And it's this Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern. Go to brainreboot2022.com to register for the program. And I have some thoughts when we get off air to begin with. So my wheels are turning. My brain is working right now.
It's booting up.
Thank you.
It's dangerous. I've been told it's dangerous when my brain works. My ADHD is kicking in right now, and it feels good. So I'm not gonna, I'm getting that creative juices. So, okay, brainreboot2022.com. We got a bunch of experts. This is going to be great. Everybody who's ever listening to this, because I'm going to put it on all my social media and I'm going to put it out to all my email. Get into this and make sure you take a look. And then if you can't make it, you'll get a copy of it at some point in time so that you can.
The encore. Encore is the following weekend.
The encore is the following weekend. I don't know. I think we should have another live weekend. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. I think I'm ready to go with this one. So Dr. Irene, thank you very much for
Thank
letting
you.
Destination Health come in and play around here a little bit. Dr. Amelia, it is wonderful meeting you. Want to talk to you for a few seconds after the podcast. I want to thank everybody for listening in. Get in brainreboot2022.com. We'll see everybody there. Thank you very much, Dr. Amelia, for being
Be there, be square.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thanks,
Take
Dr.
care,
Amelia.
all.